All right. So feel free to tag someone who needs to be free from the opinion of others. Do you know people that are easily affected by the opinion of others? Maybe that's you. I might tag someone if you think they should hear this. I do think it will help. I do think it'll help. So I'm going to give you the 3 steps on how to be free from the opinion of others. So I see 3 steps for you to be free from the opinion of others. Number 1, learn your actual identity. Learn your actual identity. And your actual identity is not what do you do, what do you have, how much have you made, what car do you have. Let me riff on that for a second. So I was on Garrett White's podcast, and I've just never been much of a car guy. To be honest, I don't really like the attention. And, he has like a Lambo. He's got, multiple other big time cars. And he mentioned, I forget how this came up, but he mentioned about how he'll pull up to a gas station in his Lambo, and all of a sudden all these dudes will come up to him, and he's just able to, to just speak fire into him. And he said, yeah, he goes, the Lambo doesn't define my identity, but if it opens up doors where I can share value and help others, then I'll drive it every day. And it really gave me a different perspective, because I think it's the Midwest in me, maybe, but I've always kind of felt like flashy cars are like you're trying too hard. But if you don't let the flash of the car define your identity and you use it to impact others, then why not? And so since I had that talk with him, sometimes when I go out, I'll wear my ClickFunnels ring. So this award back here, right there, that means, in case you don't know, that means that I've generated over $10 million in one marketing funnel. Now, these are all $1 million funnels where we've had a funnel that generated over $1 million. This one is 10 million. Now, when you get this one, I don't know if they still do this or not, but when you get this one, they also give you this big time ring, right? It's got all diamonds. It's huge. It says 8 figures. Like it's in your face, right? And I had never worn it. I never wore it, not one time, because I'm just like, I don't need that attention. And so after having that talk with him, I'm like, if I don't let it define my identity, but it actually creates attention and allows me to speak to people that otherwise wouldn't, then maybe it's a good thing. And so I've wore it a few times, and I've had several interesting conversations because of it. And it reminds me of, Solomon. Solomon, no one went to Solomon because of his faith. No one was like, hey, I hear Solomon has rock solid faith in God. Let's go talk to him. No, not at all. They went because of his wealth, number one, and his wisdom. And I love what I heard Myron Golden say. Myron Golden said, people will come to me that absolutely do not share my same views on faith, but they'll come to me because they want what I got. I love that. And that reminds me of Luke 16:9. Use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you'll be welcomed into eternal dwellings. Powerful. Now, back to identity. So what shouldn't be your identity? How much money you've made? What's your career like? What rank are you? What car do you drive? How much diamonds you got? How many properties you got? How much, whatever. None of that should be your identity. Your identity is how God sees you. And so that's the most important. It's so important for you to understand and for you to get. So pray today, Lord, if you haven't done this before, and I've taught hundreds of you to do this, but pray today, Lord, how do you see me? And you know that you're getting answers in prayer when there are words that you wouldn't use. If you get any condemnation, well, there's Romans 8:1, no, there is no condemnation in Christ. If you get anything of lack or not enoughness, or, well, you really need to work on this, that's you. That's not, or the enemy. It's not God, because God sees your real identity. Now, I taught this to my 9-year-old daughter, and I taught her how to hear in prayer. And so, I say, oh, okay, baby, I want you to pray, Lord, how do you see me? And she writes down great, kind, loving leader, right? And so I said, okay, that's your identity. That's who you are. And I said, I got a question for you. If an apple tree dies before it produces an apple, what kind of tree is it? She's like, well, it's still an apple. I'm like, exactly. So you may not always exemplify these words right here, but they're still your identity. This is who you are. This is how God sees you. Now, some of you heard the funny part of this. So I teach my daughter how to hear in prayer, and then she walks away, and I hear her go, ugh. And I'm like, what? What was that? What's up? She goes, I don't like that answer. I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, well, I asked God when I'm getting my boobs, and he said 14. So isn't it cool that she feels comfortable asking the Lord about her boobs. And also that wasn't her answer. See, that wouldn't be her answer. She's 9 years old. She's already stuffing her shirt and stuff. Like, she wants boobs like tomorrow. Pray for me. But that wasn't her answer. She would not have come up with that. So it's just, I just can't imagine. I can't imagine if I had learned how to hear in prayer at 9. I can't imagine it. I can't imagine it. And so anyway, so learn how to hear in prayer. And the first prayer that's so important, Lord, how do you see me? And he's going to give you words that you would not use to describe yourself. And that is your identity. And once you know your identity, you're protected against the condemnation of others. You're protected against the condemnation of the enemy, which identity is the first place he attacks. Integrity second. Okay, identity's first, integrity second. And your own condemnation. There's no condemnation in Christ, but you have such a habit to beat yourself up. You condemn yourself every day. You don't have to. Father, thank you for taking away all condemnation from me. Because, Hebrews 12:2 or 3 says, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. Okay. He didn't endure the cross for the joy set before him of you beating yourself up. They're really going to berate themselves. You know what? Let's do it. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And so you don't have to beat yourself up. That's optional. Okay. That's number one. Number two, stop trying to be a people pleaser. There are people that I displease every day. I don't meet other people's expectations. I find comfort in Galatians 1:10. It says, I can't be a people pleaser and a servant of Christ. I let people down every single day. Now, I'm not saying I make a promise and don't keep it. I'm very careful. I'm very careful with my promises because I want to make sure the Lord's with me on it. I want to make sure the Lord wants me to do this before I make a promise. So it's not easy for me to make a promise to someone because I have to pray and make sure, okay, Lord, do you want me to do this? Or are you with me on this? If he's not, I don't want to do it. I don't care the reward. Doesn't matter. But stop being a people pleaser. And there are people that I just look over the years, I've done so much for, and I've helped them in so many different ways that turned on me on a dime, turned on me the minute something didn't go their way, right? It is what it is. It is what it is. One of the Proverbs, I forget which one, says, fear of man is a snare, trust in the Lord and be safe. Fear in Hebrew is awe or respect. So if I'm in awe of another person and I really, really elevate their opinion, then that's a snare, right? That's a trap. That's a catch. We don't want to do that. That doesn't mean be unkind, doesn't mean don't love others. Of course we need to love others. But to attempt to be a people pleaser, that's where the mistake happens. I am a recovering people pleaser, and I bet some of you could use that recovery as well. Number three, and this is kind of elevated from just being free from the opinion of others. This is just, if you want the most adventurous life that exists, let God lead you. Let him lead you. When you know that God is leading you, right? And I'm telling you, this Thursday, I'm going to be driving up to the Atlanta area. And, why not fly? Why not fly? I mean, it's a 9-hour drive one way. Why not fly? The reason I'm looking forward to it is every time I do a long road trip, the Lord leads me to do something cool. He's led me into a seafood restaurant where I prayed for a lady whose son just died. He's led me into a Burger King where I prayed for someone where their best friend just died. He's led me into a Cajun restaurant where the ladies or the waitress's father was struggling with dementia, but when I prayed about him, he was actually possessed, and we prayed and depossessed him. So every long car ride is an adventure because I'm letting the Lord lead me. And so I hope this was helpful to you. I appreciate you so very much. So God bless you. God bless your family, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.